We're going to get started in just a little bit. Really proud to say that this is week 7, and we have been always supporting you guys and bringing you resources, the latest resources and opportunities for small businesses. And today is a very special one. This week, for those of you that don't know, is supposed to be Small Business Week. So to honor that, we have small business owners joined us today to talk about their strategies and how they're transforming the way they do business, and they're willing and so happy to share it with you all today. So without further ado, I want to introduce Juanita, our awesome moderator, and we're going to get started with today's webinar.
Mari, you're absolutely right. This is traditionally Small Business Week, and we're bringing you some amazing small businesses because, you know, with COVID-19 and doing the transformation, we all approach it differently. Our panelist is from a wide range of small businesses. You're talking about Christy Bond, who's Independence Coffee. You also have Kayla Neighbors with Organically Bath and Beauty. Then you also have Kent Oliver. Now, Kent Oliver is with Dakota Eastside Ice House. You have Janie McLeish, who is Retro Art. You have Yvette Robinson from Robinson Construction, and Jose Pedro Rivera from Rivera Tree Sales. So, but before we get to knowing these entrepreneurs and how they have overcome and continue to adapt to COVID-19, I want to bring Mari back because guess what the Maestro Entrepreneur Center has done? And if you're not aware, let me let you know. Mari, can you tell us more about that?
Of course, everyone. So we have already officially launched our website, Buy Local Grow SA. It's an amazing website filled with numerous resources for small businesses. And today I want to invite you to register, and I have placed a QR code over at the right downside corner. If you all want to do it alongside with me, I'm going to show you how easy it is to follow the QR code and how to register. You just have to open your camera on your phone and you just scan it over, and then it's pretty easy to just get it done. And once it pops, there it is, and there you go. So it's that simple. And I really wanted to invite you to go in and register because it's gonna be revolutionizing the way business is done in San Antonio, and it's really similar to LinkedIn interface where you're going to be able to talk with different business owners, exchange business ideas, but most importantly, get access to free resources for your business. So I really encourage you to go on and register and be a part of our Buy Local Grow SA initiative. So thank you, Janie. Yes.
Now, isn't it correct? You already have 30 businesses on there already? And
we
growing?
have almost 40 already registered. So don't waste any more time and go ahead and get your profile set up, put your profile picture, add pictures of your business so people can find you. And also it's people outside from San Antonio, whenever they come in and are looking for local businesses to go to, there's an easy access for them to go and search for those local businesses as well. So it's a win-win situation. So I please encourage every single one of you to go ahead and register for our Buy Local Grow SA website.
Thank you, Mari. So let me start off our Wednesday webinars with thanking our sponsors. See, everything has to have a foundation, right? And one of the leading sponsors is HEB. They said, yes, we're there. You got BBVA, Wells Fargo, and VIA. And who can forget all of our supporters, as you see on the screen, from Westside Development Corporation, you've got the Hispanic Contractors Association, our chambers, so many numerous to remember, but between the North San Antonio, the West San Antonio, the Hispanic Chamber, the San Antonio Chamber, Let's not forget those who support us as far as getting us with the information that we need, like the SBDC and from the Texas West Coast Network, as well as the SBDC from the University of Texas here in San Antonio. But like I said, we're talking about what we're doing here. So don't forget to go to our website and get to know what other businesses are locally. Now you're talking about getting up and going, right? What better way than to get going with our independent coffee? So I don't know about you, I've got my coffee, but I'm inspired to go look at independent coffee. So with no further ado, let's introduce you to Christy Vaughn. Now, Christy, as I'm going to go through, I've got some amazing information on you. So give me a second, because I want to brag on you a little bit. So
Thank you.
now I know, sometimes when you talk about partnership out in the community, this is definitely a partnership. Christy Vaughn and her husband, Reagan Vaughn, I believe, Christy, you won the Women's Business Entrepreneur Alliance in Houston for that pitch competition in the
Yes,
summer.
I did. Yes,
Right?
I did. Very unexpected, but yes.
But what a way to start. We start our mornings off. Now, I don't know about you, but I know I start with my coffee. So let's start with that. How did Independence Coffee come to be?
Well, my husband and I moved here from Houston back in 2001. We live in Brenham, and we came here with a 5-year plan to find a business and support our family. So Independence Coffee came about just as a vision for us to do that. So we've been roasting coffee now for 17 years, and we've got 22 employees, and it's just been a growing business, a collaboration of all the people that work here with us, and they're the reason that we are where we are. So it's been quite a journey.
Now, talk about that journey. I know there was a hiccup. I know you didn't plan for this, right? For COVID-19, it wasn't in your agenda in that 5-year plan, right?
No, ma'am. None of us planned for this. There are changes all around us that we never would have expected, which I think also has required a lot of patience on our parts as entrepreneurs. The world is in a bit of chaos. So if we can kind of be patient, I think that's kind of a key. We basically experienced a loss of about 90% of our business, yet our doors were still open. So, kind of twofold. It was a blessing and a curse at the same time. So we've managed through that. The challenge has been keeping our employees here at work, because with coffee requires freshness. That is extremely important to us. So it has to be fresh. So I can't just say, okay, everybody, let's just keep packaging coffee.
Now, Christy, on that note, when you're talking about losing 90% of your business and still maintaining your doors open, did you take advantage of that PPP loan? And how are
Yes,
you?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we did. And in taking advantage of that, you have to get creative, because I can't keep putting coffee in a bag because of, like we said, the freshness. So, all of us as small business owners, we get so very busy. We've got projects, whether they're big or small, that we just don't get to. And
Right.
So that's what we have taken some of this time to focus on, is some of those projects. And that's allowed us to use some of our PPP funds. It's allowed us to keep our employees here at work, because that's an expense that none of us want to go to lose our employees at the end of this and then have to rehire and retrain, because that's a costly expense in itself when we're already in economic stress.
Well, that leads me to my next question. So, I don't want to assume, because every business is different. So from what I'm seeing, you're looking at things a little bit different. In other words, packaging, development, advancement, rebudgeting, reevaluating. It's not necessarily that you're redoing the business, but you're really taking the time to see how you're going to use those PPP funds and improve your business at this point.
Yes, yes, we are. We are, you know, there are some things that we have done during this time. Our online business, I mean, it exploded. We had a good base for online business, but given the growth that we've experienced during COVID, we will continue to focus on that portion of the business because we've seen the growth potential. So we're adding additional staff in our shipping department. We want that online division to keep growing. We have people who will, of course, go back to purchasing our coffee at the grocery store now that it's coming back onto the shelf. But then we also have those people who say, oh, I didn't even know you did this variety. I love that I saw these new things online. So I'll do a little bit of both. I'll continue to get my basics at HEB, and then I'll go online and get some of the things that they may not offer. So that's a great growth opportunity for us.
So what I'm understanding, you have about 40 plus flavors, right?
Yes,
different
ma'am.
types of coffee. And I was researching your site, and listeners and those who are attending, take a look at what we have up on your screen right now. Independent coffee. That's one of the things that, you know, I can say that when you're developing a business and you're looking to really brew that independence, just as the tagline is saying, they were very innovative, and without even realizing it, your customers sought you out. And take advantage of what you're seeing right now, because you've got orders at independencecoffee.com, and then you've got sales at independencecoffee.com. Now, you said that that's an area that probably would not have drawn your attention so much, but now that you have, right? And
correct.
So what are some of the measures that you're going to take to fine tune this? Because your website needs to run more fluently, the language, the verbiage, the description, the processing, you know, things of that nature.
Well, like I had mentioned, adding additional staff into our shipping department is going to be key. We also, we do lots of sales. So we'll have a 4th of July sale. We'll have a Memorial Day sale. Some of those sales may be 2 or 3 days long. You go in and maybe you get free shipping. Maybe you get a free item. We always put something extra in every package that we send out. So those things will continue, but pardon me, but adding the additional staff and focusing on those sales, special promotions will allow that sector to continue to grow. We're also going into Amazon fulfillment. So we're going to be shipping to Amazon, and they will fulfill. We've done self-fulfillment in the past, but this is a great opportunity for us to grow there on the Amazon sites as well.
Juanita, you're on mute.
Okay, and that's a great opportunity because Amazon means you've got good growth. Now, on that note, HEB is going to have something that they're going to offer to our viewers, so stay tuned to that. Now, as you saw the growth with your business, what is a gold nugget that you would offer to the viewers right now? What would you say is one of the important things that, as a business owner, that they would need to maybe concentrate at this point on?
Well, you do have to be creative. You have to think outside of the box, because if you stay inside the box, it's going to confine you, and you're going to become frustrated, and that gets you nowhere. It gets your business nowhere, but it also affects your employees. We felt it's been very important for us to communicate and keep those lines of communication open with them. They need to know what we're thinking. They don't have to know all of the little details, but they need to know that we're here to take care of them. That starts the process when our team is on the same page. And then I think that just knowing that someone told me about a week ago, you can get through anything. You've survived a pandemic. So, I mean, I think that's huge. So we just have to stay focused. We have to stay positive, and we have to realize that this will not last forever. And we're going to come out with a lot of new knowledge, a lot of things that we didn't have going into this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and you know, there's been a lot of great resources and organizations out there. Was there anyone in particular that stepped up and said, you know, I've got, you know, a resource here. Let me share this with you. I know that we've had other episodes, other webinars in which the SBDC has been instrumental. The Texas Workforce has been instrumental. Microsoft has been instrumental. Right. Who has been there to kind of guide you through some of the changes?
Right. Well, I will tell you that we work very closely with a local bank, and they have advised us. They have worked with us on all the details of the PPP loan. The Small Business Development Center at Glenn College has been very instrumental. They've been instrumental in our growth and planning for the last 17 years. They are just absolutely wonderful. Guide us, give us the pros, give us the cons, get our feedback, very supportive. So those two organizations, I would say, Bank of Brenham here in Brenham, Texas, and the Small Business Development Center at Glenn College have been very instrumental and very supportive of us.
Well, there you go, viewers. Independent copy. You have Christy Bond, president and co-founder. And let me add, she was 2019 Small Business Person of the Year in HEB Primo Picks. So that's a good start. That's a great way to start the morning. So what do you do next after you start your morning? So I'm going to tell you, how about organically bath beauties, right? Now, I know we've got our starts in the morning, but who gets us going the rest of the day? Because you know, all of this takes work, right? So let me get to that. Where are you? Where are you?
Hello?
Do I have you on?
Yes, I'm here, Keela. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Keela, thank you so much. Keela, I was looking at your products, and you know, everyone's getting ready to go organic. How did it affect you? How long have you been in business? Tell me, you know, because I haven't gotten to know your product yet, and you've got some amazing things on there.
Thank you. Thank you. We actually I started making products back in 2013 because of my daughter who has eczema. And so it's been a craft that I really worked on for, you know, some years. And it was not until 2016 we actually launched our company. And we started as an e-commerce, funny enough, but we hadn't really mastered that. And so we went out to farmers markets, and we eventually got our first brick and mortar back in 2018. And so we've had a store over in Alamo Heights. We now have a larger location over like in the Castle Hills, Lock Hill, Selma area in San Antonio. And it's just been an amazing journey and a natural growth from really our customers and word of mouth.
And you know, sometimes that's probably your best, because I'm sure you probably kept overhead as low as possible, and marketing and all sorts of things, that you probably wore about 5 to 6 different hats. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I've been all encompassing for a very long time. And we do have a team now who helps with who does our social media and our marketing, but they've always been remote. So that's always been that was a great transition, but it's been really just a really interesting, a very, I guess, a huge lesson, a learning process for us, because, you know, the whole online piece, it was a learning curve for us. And so it was like, let's go out and talk to people when we first started. And then we had to revert back to the online during this time. And it was kind of like, okay, we didn't master that before, you know, how do we really grow that? How do we really utilize? We had like a email list over 5,000 customers. And it was like, okay, how do we really tap into this and let them know that we're still available? We're still here. And I mean, everything has been a transformation for us, like a blooming in itself, you know, as an e-commerce going out.
Well, now you started out as e-commerce, but COVID-19, you know, kind of took you out of the brick and mortar back to e-commerce, right? So that was a different direction.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of made you say, okay, I didn't get it right the first time. let me see what I got to do this time.
Exactly.
And how have you increased, you know, online now? What's the growth in that right now?
Well, it has grown tremendously. We have, as of this week, we have actually matched our in-store sales. And so
Wow.
it's been phenomenal. And so it really came down to, hey, we're not quite doing this right. We need to provide an experience. So everything from our packaging, we wanted to ensure that our customers got an entire experience when they open our boxes. So it was like almost like walking into our store. So
Okay.
we had created this ambiance in there. So it was like, we have to create that within our packaging, within our boxes when they go out. And so we really, you know, adding the extra items in, collaborating with other small businesses to include other little things in our boxes, to writing personalized notes to our customers to let them know that, you know, we're here and we appreciate you, especially during this difficult time. So it really, really was, you know, back to the basics, but just really fine tuning that in-store experience and making it an online experience for our customers.
Now, we've heard about PPP loans. Did you take advantage of that? And if you did, how did you use it?
Recently, yes, we just recently got a PPP loan, and as of just this week, actually. And so we're utilizing that to keep our team. Our team was remote before, but so much of what we did to thrive was done in store. And so now that we've been able to actually tap into other areas of our social content and our social reach, we've been able to like really fine tune our social media manager, our event planner. So before she was going out to look for events within the community, but it's like, hey, let's create virtual events. And so even from that, creating our virtual bath bomb class that we have where, you know, you can purchase a bath bomb kit, you receive all the materials, and you actually get to do the class virtually. So it was like coming up with that kind of think tank process and meeting and talking about how we can transform this to something that's really devastating financially at this time, but transform it into something that actually creates almost not a complete seamless, but almost like seamless transition for our customers and actually see the growth potential in that, and knowing that sometimes even with our classes, the schedules didn't quite match up, but now having the virtual segments, like, okay, well, maybe we'll keep this in the future, even moving forward after we open our store back up. So it was, you know, really getting our team to come together and think out of the box, as mentioned earlier, thinking out of the box. Yeah.
So you've done the reevaluation. You've done things differently. You've been more creative. You've tried something, didn't work the first time. You went to the brick and mortar, discovered that e-commerce was actually a good area for you to re-explore. And now you're shifting to kind of run parallel with your brick and mortar and your e-commerce. What are some of the other things that you think you're going to be discovering in this? Are you doing your analysis? You're doing your evaluation? You know, because those are some of the things that probably, you know, a good percentage during this process kind of caught them off guard. You know, especially with training your team. Is that something that you're doing right now, especially during this time when you're not, you know, in your brick and mortar?
And so for sure we are. And one of the things that we do, we have a customer relations specialist who helps with our, you know, online experience as far as customers, because we get all kind of messages, we get online orders, we get orders through, you know, inboxes and Instagram, Facebook, email. So it's kind of coming from all over the place. And then we've also been able to streamline our phone calls to come in, you know, to our customer relations specialist. And so we've been able to do those things. But what we've found is that we actually realized quickly as a family, because we're a family-owned business, that outside of those other two employees, we actually need a team to help run the online piece. And so we've talked about, you know, how we would streamline that, going back into the store to, you know, really evaluate how we continue to grow online, because a lot of our online sales, they come from San Antonio, Texas based, but a lot of them are all over the country at this point. And so we were like, hey, we actually may need to hire and to rethink how we've done business before. Maybe we do need to look into a warehouse. Maybe we should be going along that route to actually to make this work, because I don't, honestly, we just said, we don't know if this is actually going to fit within our store. So
Right.
we see a growth potential in that area as well, that we actually may need to source other ways to actually get our online orders out.
Now, addressing that, was there an organization that you went to that you had confidence enough and that was available to you to give you kind of some out of the box thinking and guide you back to some more details and more focused areas that wasn't going to cost you so much? Because I know SBDC has been phenomenal for a lot of small businesses.
Yes, SBDC has been phenomenal. We work with Tracy over SBDC, and it's like, it was one of the first things I did actually was send her a text and say, hey, what now? You know, like, we really, that was our stream of revenue, was our in-store sales. And it was really thinking like, hey, you need to meet with your team, you need to devise a plan. But really giving me some great feedback on, you know, how to formulate, or how, I guess, the perspective of how to look at this, from, hey, what can we improve on that we're doing already, or maybe we're not doing too well, and maybe we can actually turn this into something, you know, very lucrative, or very just of substance for our business. And and looking at how we started with shipping out our online orders, or how things were previously, looking at it now, I'm like floored about how the growth. And it was just been like 6 weeks, and I'm like, wow, this is a complete, you know, change. 180 completely.
Well, as you can see, viewers, Organically Bath and Beauty, she is located here in San Antonio. So as we get ready to start opening up our locations, you know, maybe go over there with social distances and your little mask, making sure everybody's safe, take a visit. But if you physically can't get out, take a look at their online site. Now, we've got our morning going, you know, because we need that running start with our coffee. We have our beauty, because sometimes I'm a delicate flower, but I kind of want to get to know some other people and get to socializing. So let's move on to Dakota Eastside Ice House. Now, we know, Kent, that this was a whole different perspective as far as online coffee, online organic. You have a brick and mortar. How did you overcome this? And first, how long have you been in business? And what is the favorite part of being part of Dakota Eastside Ice House?
So, excuse me. So we just celebrated our 2nd anniversary on the 15th of April. So it was an exciting day, but it was, you know, kind of clouded by everything going on. And then, like you said, it is a completely different thing than the online businesses. And, you know, we depend on people to be here. And making that shift has been the hardest thing. Because, you know, we're selling an environment, we're selling a feeling, we're selling a community of people. And so trying to shift, as that's been the most difficult thing, and then figure out what, you know, where our place is and all that.
So, Kent, I want to know a little bit about your history. How did you come up with the Dakota Eastside Ice House? What's your background? I'm sure you got up one morning and said, you know, I think I'm going to open an ice house so everybody can come and join, and everybody's going to want to be there, right? It was that simple.
Well, it's kind of almost, maybe. So this place kind of came out of necessity and out of just inspiration of my neighborhood and my community, and something that we needed. I worked for Rio San Antonio Cruises, the tour boat company on the Riverwalk, for 20 years. The last 5 years I was there, I was the director of operations for that company. When we lost the bid for the night, so for those of you who don't know, it's a city contract. The city contract was awarded to another company, which was is now Go Rio. And so what kind of happened with that whole thing is I met their takeover team and just realized that that wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. And literally overnight, on my way home from that meeting, I passed this building that we're in now today, which is 2 blocks from my house, and had been a convenience store. And I'd passed many, many times, but they had just paved the parking lot, and the building looked really, really great. I said, man, that would be a cool place to do an ice house, which is something I had thought about for years, something I'd wanted to do for years, but didn't have the funds or the necessity to do so. But it was something that our community lacked, just a place, a gathering place. There wasn't any place that was, friendly to everyone, friendly to the community, families, where you could just come and hang out and meet your neighbors and that sort of thing. But anyway, that day, I passed by, I circled the block, I came back to look at it again, and there was a for lease sign on the door. And I thought, I'm going to call them. And I called them right then, and I came and looked at the building the next day, and had no money, had no plan, had nothing. But I told the owner of the building just my basic idea of what I wanted to do. Of course, I didn't tell him I didn't have any of those things. But basically just left here after meeting them and just said, if you'll just give me some time, I think I can pull this together. And luckily, I guess the stars aligned and things just happened. And I closed out my 401k from my old job. I did everything I could possibly do.
Right.
So I'm all in. So this hitting has been like a crazy thing because, when you're in, I'm sure a lot of you realize, I've been there, when you're in just so deep that your success, everything depends on your success. So
absolutely.
So
my
battery's already low. I have to move over real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. So is it safe to say that the Dakota Eastside Ice House wasn't so much as that it was planned for? It came out of a need, and most entrepreneurs, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they abandon themselves to their legacy, which is really what you did, you found where one door closed, another one opened. Mm-hmm. It probably wasn't even a vision. It was an idea, but now it was a need. Did you use any organizations to help you move in that direction?
I actually did not. I did go down to talk. I went down to Launch SA and met with them one time, and they are an amazing organization, and I've since formed a relationship with them. But in the beginning, my necessity was one of speed. I had to do things quickly. Things had to move quickly. We sat there and talked about, writing down business plans and taking all this time. And I was like, I have to get this building next week. What are you talking about? I don't have time to sit down. I don't have a plan. We're flying by the seat of our pants. So I was like, I just realized at that moment that wasn't the organization for me. But they do serve a great service to the community. And like I said, we have a relationship now. And I've spoken with other entrepreneurs who've used their services, and it's been really, really beneficial to a lot of people. It just didn't fit for me at that time.
Now, like we addressed at the first, your business is completely different from independent coffee and the organically beauty. So how did COVID-19 make you think differently? And the other thing too is, did you use the PPP loan?
So I'll start with the first question, which was we had to completely pivot to doing to-go and curbside services, which is something that we did very little of. We maybe did 2 or 3 to-go orders a night, maybe, and that was that was a lot. To do 2 or 3 was a lot, and to take the whole business to that being 100% of your sales was a crazy thing. Like, it's something that I never even considered. But it's something we talked about doing in the future, doing some to-go things and things like that, but having to pivot overnight is a whole different thing. And only with the support of our loyal customers were we able to do that. And I kind of liken this whole thing to just like when we started out, when you start a new business, excuse me, your friends and your family and all those people are the people that help you get started, and they're just right behind you, and they're the driving force. That was the only way we made it to this point, was those loyal customers, those first couple of weeks who came in every day and got things to go and bought gift cards and just all these things. It was a lot like when we very first started. So yeah, that was the whole thing, was trying to pivot that. The other thing was we started, like a lot of other restaurants, we started carrying basic goods, basic staple goods that at the time we were able to get, and you weren't able to get at some other places, through sources like Cisco and Restaurant Depot and those places that were open, you know, solely to us. So we were able to get toilet paper when people couldn't get toilet paper, and paper towels, and you know, some of those things that we could buy in
Become
bulk.
your friend.
Yeah, exactly. If you had told me a year ago that I was going to be selling toilet paper, I would have not believed you. But we have it now, and it's been great. I mean, it has. I mean, we're not going to be able to pay a lot of bills selling toilet paper, but it's brought people in that otherwise wouldn't have come in.
But it made you think outside the box.
Exactly.
Granted, it's not something you would have put on your menu, but now you have it,
Right.
and it's a need, it's a commodity.
Right.
But the other thing too is, how are you doing business different? Now, I know, you know, it's an atmosphere, and I am going to come look at you, even when I have my little mask on and my gloves on. I'm going to come see you. But I mean, I'm always looking for that little niche here in San Antonio, or whenever I go to any city, whether it's Houston, Dallas, or Fort Worth, San Marcos. I want those small niches, and from the sounds of it, that was what you created. The other thing too you said was your dedicated customers. You know, so you had already built a good clientele. But what are you going to be doing different now that that you're in the thick of things and you're moving, you know, to maybe go back?
Well, like you said, you know, you're selling an environment, and a big part of what we sell is community, and you know, just building this community around our neighbors and around, you know, the artists, the musicians, and the people who play here. Just creating this culture of community that's really been our driving force behind us. We have switched to online. We've done, you know, we can order online. You can do these things that we couldn't do before. Even all the products from the store you can order online.
Nice.
And so that's been the biggest shift has been that.
Right.
Also, just you know, selling. You know, we're a 50-50 alcohol and food establishment. 51-49 or however that goes.
Right.
And so to pivot from that also to, we've been selling 90% food, 10% alcohol. So that's a whole different thing as well. So I'm sorry, I got lost. I got lost.
No. But here's the other. No, that's okay. No. And I see that because it was a true reality for you of having to make that shift. And you're right, because at first I'm sure you had 51% because of your clientele of alcohol. The food was delicious. The atmosphere was great.
Right.
Now you're going back to 90% food, 10% alcohol, which is not a problem. Right. Obviously, the food is good. The atmosphere was fine because you established that relationship.
Right.
But now that we're opening back up, what precautions are you going to take to ensure that your clientele are coming to that same safe environment that you created before?
Right. So we haven't opened our dining room yet. Okay. We have opened limited seating on the patio. We have 3 tables out there. They're about 15 feet apart each one, and we have a few seats other than that. Everything that we're doing is, you know, it's not good for the landfill, but everything we're doing is disposable. Nothing that leaves the building comes back into the building. It's just kind of the rule, which I think that's about as safe as you can get. Is anything that's been handled, anything that's been taken out, it's just not coming back in. And of course, face masks and gloves and just, you know, the constant sanitation of surfaces and that sort of thing. Absolutely. And we also require people when they come into the building to wear masks. I mean, it's really hard if you're sitting there eating to eat with a mask on or that sort of thing. But when they come in, if they need to use the restrooms or anything like that, we ask that they wear masks. And overall, I would say people have been amazing. I was really kind of scared, I have to be honest, that when we opened up Friday night. You know, you see the news things up in Dallas of those people that had their patios open and people were just crazy, and I was kind of scared of how that was going to happen. You never know how many people are going to show up when you open the door. You know, it could be 2 or it could be 200, just depending on. I mean, people have been kept at home for so long I didn't know what that was going to look like. The other thing we've done is
I'm ready to let my hair down, so I'm going to come visit and finish you open up a little bit. So viewers, here's the thing. You have Kent Oliver. He's the founder and CEO of Dakota Eastside Ice House. Now, coffee, beauty care, nice atmosphere. But here's the other person I want to introduce you to. The forward-thinking, visionary, and making sure that we all have that connection and collaborating, making sure that connection is supported. I want to introduce you to Mari, who is the director at the Maestro Entrepreneur Center. They themselves experienced quite an adventure. Now, they've been around, they've been focused on helping other people like myself, like our panelists as well. But Mari, your experience, right? You have other entrepreneurs in your building. Tell us a little bit about the Maestro Entrepreneur Center, because we have some new listeners and from Houston to Dallas and Fort Worth and all in between. And let's get them to know the Maestro Entrepreneur Center.
Thank you, Juanita. And that was amazing. All of you business owners, you have inspired me and inspired other entrepreneurs. That's for sure. So I wanted to share a little bit about the Maestro Entrepreneur Center. We're a business incubator and accelerator. We have over 30,000 square footage of incubation space. Currently, we have 37 businesses incubating out of our location, and we have a total space for 50. We also have a commercial kitchen where culinary clients can come in and use as they grow and expand their business. So this is an amazing opportunity, and we always love to have other entrepreneurs share their success stories to encourage others that are going through the same thing and they're trying to reach that success level. So I really appreciate you sharing, business owners, and I really wanted to encourage you to go online and register to our Buy Local Grow SA website. And that way you'll have more resources, all access for free. And I'm really happy to say that we have had the support of other key partners in the community to put these webinars together to bring you all the latest information and resources for you guys. So thank you, Juanita. And I would really want to touch base on some questions.
Sure. Well, before we go into the questions, I want to make sure that everyone has a number. Now, remember when I mentioned, you know, we have a sponsor that, let's just say that they're a corporation with grassroots mentalities and have never forgotten to come back, reach that hand back and bring someone else. You see all these entrepreneurs online and you see the growing need for small businesses. Well, you know, if HEB is telling you that they want you and they need you, listen, they're here to offer you something. Ms. Crystal Royale, can you please tell us what HEB is doing?
Well, hello, everybody. And I want to say a special thanks to Independent Coffee. I love that you're one of our primo picks. Coffee is my favorite beverage. To Organically Yours and Grown, I'm so happy that you're online. And Dakota Ice House, you will be seeing me. HEB is still doing what we do in the community, which is we love our communities. We're in the community. You are HEB because the community is HEB. And we're still doing Quest for Texas Best. A lot of people did not know that we had extended the deadline, and the deadline has been extended to May 31st. The actual website for Quest for Texas Best is on the slides, and we need to make sure you know one thing. So make sure you jot down Quest for Texas Best, that particular website, but make sure you get your submissions in by May 31st, 4:59 p.m., not 5 o'clock, 4:59 p.m. is when we'll take the last submission for Quest for Texas Best. The website is www.heb.com/quest. www.heb.com/quest. May 31st, 4:59 is your last submission. We are taking food and non-food submissions. So if you got body products, I'm talking to you, Keela. If you have coffees, if you have food, have anything that is a non-food or a food, we want you to submit requests. We want to thank the community. You've been an amazing, amazing partner. We look at our community people, as our communities as partners, and that throughout COVID-19, you have continued to show who we are. As a supplier, if you are interested in becoming a supplier for HEB, as you see on the slide before you, there's supplier.heb.com. There's a portal there for all of our small business owners, minority-owned, veteran-owned, women-owned businesses, construction, any of those that apply for sanitizers, masks, anything that we need to operate our business. Please go to our portal and submit to become a supplier. Again, HEB thanks you. We love you. Thank you for doing this beautiful job, and Juanita, keep being you. I just love you.
Stop it. This has been great for the fact that, we want to collaborate. Collaboration is key here in the state of Texas. Building off our grassroots, our small businesses, our micro businesses have really sustained the state of Texas, right? We know how to grow within, and we want to continue to grow within. We have business, supports like, SBDC out of, Prairie View, and you also have, SBDC from, the University of Texas here in San Antonio. So the vision that these organizations have and the support that they have is unpronounced anywhere, right? But right now, let's open up the floors to questions from any of our viewers. We have a few minutes. Oh, and before you think of getting off, this is going to be coming to you with 3 other business owners and the Spanish version, because right now we need to cross those divides, and you need to reach out to your chambers, whether it's the Asian chamber, the Hispanics chamber, the Black chamber. Reach out to them, and remember, collaboration right now to be able to sustain the state of Texas is key. So let's open up to questions. Does anyone have one? Or
Yes,
even a comment?
We have several come in through the chat, Juanita, that I wanted to mention. So
Please.
The first one was for Christy with Independent Coffee. So Christy, are you using social media marketing?
Yes, we do. We have a social media individual that's her focus, is to do our marketing and all the social media aspects. She does post, she does some fun things. It's not all serious business, but yes, we do take advantage of that.
Awesome. And we just have a comment here coming from Tracy from UTSA SBDC that if your business is located in Seguin, please note that the city is providing $5,000 to local businesses. Also, if you're located in the West Side, the West Side Development Corporation is also offering a $5,000 grant, forgivable grant for those of you that qualify for that funding. And then the next question we have is for Ms. Keela with Organic Beauty. This is a very niche product. How do you create awareness?
Well, one of the ways that we create awareness previously was like through pop-ups and stuff like that. And so we've really been, I've actually put a lot of energy into really targeting my Facebook ads. I'm also a member of the Facebook Boost Leaders Network. And so one of the things that I've done during this time is that I've had less time in the shop. So I've been able to spend more time online, really fine tuning our ads and taking advantage of the conversion ads and trying to make a more, I guess, more national reach as opposed to just local. And so that's one of the ways that we've been able to really spread. And but also one of the key ways too, like you talked about collaboration before too, is that we've collaborated with at least 4 other businesses, small businesses, to actually include their products in our boxes and stuff like that. So through that reach, we've been able to reach other consumers, other customers that way as well too.
I have a request from the chat, and now I'm going to introduce Robinson Construction. Now she's also going to be a Spanish speaker, but the need is huge. And what did I say? We are here to help each other, and we're going to collaborate. I want to bring up some information on the Robinson construction. Give me a moment, because you caught me off guard, but I got you. Hold on a second. Robinson Construction has been in business for 10 years, you know, and you talk about a diverse background. Miss Robinson actually had come from a family construction, paisanos construction and residential, where she started as simple as cleaning the job site. And then after school and graduating, she then transitioned into what? The marketing, right? Marketing manager, and then sales. And then now talk about, it's not Jack, we're talking Jill of all trades, right? Jill of all trades. But tell me a little bit of your history of your construction company, Ms. Robinson.
So Robinson General Contractors, it was an idea. I moved to San Antonio with my then boyfriend, and my husband, he was in commercial construction. So I would go on these, I would travel with him. I would take the notes. I would look at the set of plans. And then before you knew it, I'm like, we can do this. It's going to be easy, right? So, and I learned the hard way that nothing comes easy in this world, especially when you're trying to start a construction company.
Marty, can you put on Robinson General Contractors so that we can have our information up there? Because we want to make sure that we're accommodating our viewers. Thank you so much. Excellent. You're right. May I call you that?
Yes.
Okay. That's definitely not a woman-dominated field, is it?
No, it's not. So I'm always the odd one out. Sometimes I have been caught off guard when I'm leaving an event and I have to go to a walkthrough or a pre-bid. And one time I was in a skirt and heels, and I did not do it, but it was a pre-bid for a roofing contract, and I had to go up the ladder, and I'm like, I'm going to sit this one out.
Yes.
So, yeah, you got to know.
Yeah. Now, you have you're about to hit your 10-year anniversary coming this June, right?
June. That's correct.
Now, how did COVID-19 either affect you or challenge you? Because you're either all in or you're hanging on, right?
So, thankfully, I'm one of those essential industries where it didn't affect us too much, but we have seen some disturbances when it comes to getting material to the project. We do work throughout Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Okay. Before anything else, I do want to give a huge shout out to the HEB construction team, because they are beyond accommodating. They are with constant communication through this pandemic, and have always, they're not afraid to reply to an email or a phone call, or they've been nothing but accommodating. So first, I have to say huge thank you to the HEB construction team for working with me, with Robinson General Contractors. Gives me a sense of pride knowing that I helped out in this pandemic to help people get their groceries and make it easier for them.
Now, you have federal contracts as well as, a contract with HEB and a few other private contracts, right? Now, COVID-19 affected federal differently than the public, right?
Yes.
So how did you view your business from the effects of COVID-19? How did you readdress it? Because that's two different arenas.
Yes. So as soon as this came out, I did contact all the owners and people that we have contracts with, and just to see where they were on this. What did they want us to do? Did they want us to get out of their job site? Did they want to place the job on hold? And yes, a lot of government projects that we did have going on did come to a stop, at least for now. Right. So at that time, I think when all this gets lifted, I'm going to have to find out and see what they want to do with either continue to proceed or
it's a complete
we'll have to find out. Yes.
But you did something that was a little bit different. You first you communicated because obviously, you know, you learned that from good business. And after all, we're communicators. But you took it a step further before it was implemented. You put a safety plan in place.
I did. I put a safety plan in place. My father's company is in Laredo, Texas, and in Laredo, they started the wear the mask rule over there. So I kind of saw it coming. You know, if other cities are doing it, it's just a matter of time before San Antonio has to do it. And sure enough, I placed my order. I was able to find a small company in Laredo that did my masks for my company, and I was able to get it to my employees before they mandated it here in San Antonio. So I'm very thankful for that.
Now, did you apply for the PPP loan? And if you applied for it, did you get it? And if you got it, how are you utilizing it?
So I did get the payment protection loan, and as soon as it funded, the first thing I did was contact my CPA and say, we got it. How do you want me to book this? They gave me their advice, you know, from the moment that you receive that payment protection money, you have 8 weeks to spend it on our payroll and operations. So with that being my lease, you know, the utilities that come with the lease, phones. So.
So how did you transform your business a little bit during this process? Because COVID-19 doesn't look like they're going away anytime soon, but also life does not cease to exist or continue. So how are you transforming your business a little?
So right now, usually we have an open door policy at our office. You know, we are open right now. Our office hours did change. We are open from 9 to 3, and we are by appointment only. The building landlord, he has the building lock, so you need one of these swipe cards to get in. So if it's not necessary, we would rather do a face-to-face just the way we are doing it now on a Zoom chat. I pay my subs, you know, by mail. I use a tracking system, but that's about it. I mean, we are here. If you need to communicate with me, you can call me, email me, text me. I'm always
available.
Yes, I'm available for anyone.
So I want to know, what are some gold nuggets that that you can offer a business? So if I was to come up to you and say, Yvette, you're doing really well, but we know that wasn't overnight. What would be some gold nuggets that you would give to a small business right now during this time? What are some steps you would do?
Well, my advice would be definitely, you know, be yourself and everything will fall into place. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's nothing silly about a question. If you don't understand something, then, you know, just ask the question. Maybe you're not the only one that wants to ask that question. Definitely be organized. And I could not stress this enough. You know, a lot of, you know, get out in your community, you know, buy local, like you just said. Join an association that's, you know, your industry related. Join a chamber. I'm part of the Hispanic Chamber and the Hispanic Contractors Association. You know, get out there, network and mingle, because, you know, that's the only way you're going to start getting your foot in the door is by meeting people. Everyone wants to do business with someone they know.
But remember, don't forget to practice safety. Now,
yes.
The last thing I want to know, who helped? Who was one of your biggest supporters when you were starting your business? Because it's always, not everyone's going to have the perfect plan, the business plan, as you saw, you know, Mr. Oliver. Time was of the essence for him, but you took a little bit different route. Who was instrumental in helping you get going?
So, you know, when I first started my company, I thought it would be as easy as my dad when he started his company, but I didn't know the back end of it. Doing my research and, you know, trying to make connections, I ran across the Small Business Development Center. And this was about 10 years ago. And, you know, one of the first people that I met that was really instrumental was, and I don't think she's there anymore, but Shirley Smith was a godsend. I mean, she was able to point me in that, you know, create a path for me. And all I had to do was follow it and do the work myself. So I'm always going to be thankful to the Small Business Development Center.
Okay. Well, again, you know, you have to take a look at what's available to you. I have time for a question. I think, do we have a question? Let me see.
Yes, we do have two questions directed to Yvette.
Yes,
The first one is, how did you get on with HEB as a contractor? And then the second one is, do you use the PPP for contractors? We got ours that included the contractors, but now it looks like they aren't included.
So so to answer the first part of the question and how I got onto HEB as a contractor, one of the first things I did at the time, they were using the Ariba system, but they're not using that anymore. I believe they're using ProjectMate. So we kind of grandfathered into that. Was, you know, fill out your paperwork, get their website that you just showed a little clip of it, told you exactly what documents you need, and you know, just fill it all out. And when HEB has their diversity conference, I would definitely make time to get out there and get a booth or, you know, something to show face. And then, you know, that's how you're going to start meeting people. And if construction's not there, just say, you know, can you point me in the right direction? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. And that's basically how I did it. It's been a few years now. I think I've been working now for HEB for about 8 years, I'm gonna say. I may be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But you know,
Well, time flies when you're having a good time and you have that kind of relationship, right? I can't blame you for not remember the precise time. It's easy to get lost in a relationship when a relationship works.
Yes. Now to answer the second part of their question for the payment protection, I am a contractor. Unfortunately, there was a small change that I didn't mention, is that, you know, while this is going on, not a lot of stuff's being sent out to bid. So where am I going to send my guys after? The payment protection, I did not put the contractor's cost in there because they're 1099. I went off of my 941s and my payroll for my employees. So those are the numbers that I worked, you know, when I worked with my bank on getting that payment protection. So no, I did not include my contractors in that.
Crystal, I know I need to ask you a couple of questions. Can you come back online for me?
I'm here.
Yes. Can you help me out about how she became, I believe the question is how she became a contractor?
First, I wanted to Yvette's horn because I love how she's so humble, but Yvette is amazing. So what people don't know about Robinson Contractors, and yes, you've been with us for 8 years, is that the curbsides that you guys are using now for your grocery pickups, Yvette was a spearhead in the beginning of that. HEB has always been on the forefront of trying to make sure that we deliver our services in a way that's convenient to our customers. And we had no idea COVID-19 was going to come. So when we started putting into place those curbsides, and Yvette was one of the first contractors doing that. So I'm going to toot her horn on that one.
Oh,
Second,
thank you.
She's absolutely correct. Our opportunity exchanges are pertinent for anyone who wants to get into the construction business with HEB. This year, we're still working on how we're going to do that. It'll probably be virtually, but she's absolutely correct. Opportunity exchanges as well as the supplier portal. Those are your two key elements into HEB, and making sure that you're persistent. Find out who you need to talk to in the organization. Make sure that you're attending those conferences that not only HEB sponsors, but also people like Maestro Center. That was an amazing one that I met Marty at. Also with your chambers, they have connections with us. So your community partners are going to be key. SBDCs, they're going to be key in communicating with us. So she's spot on with the information she just gave everyone. Is for you to move forward with HEB, make sure that you're doing your due diligence in the community so that your name is known, and then that from there it takes off on its own. But I had to give her some tuning there. The curbside.
I want to touch on the question that says, do you use the PP for contractors? But let me make sure I put this disclaimer. We can't advise you how to use the PP loan for any of your business. the best person to ask are the people like the SBDC and your CPA. Yvette alluded to that, how she went straight to her CPA and whoever does her taxes, because we want to make sure that you're successful and you have the right information from the people who are handling it. So our recommendation is go back to your SBDC so they can give you some more guidelines. In the event that you're not able to get the answer there, definitely go back to your CPA, because I'm sure they're already being addressed. Now, I also have another question over here on West Side and South Side. The question is, what advice would you give to micro businesses on the West Side or South Side who may not have a digital storefront and are interested in pivoting to such a model? Now, here's the SBDC. You've got the Maestro Entrepreneur Center, who has great collaboration with other businesses who are doing that. Last week, we had the West Side Development Contractors. You know, for those who are coming out of the West Side, reach out to them. They're ready to guide you. And if they don't have the answer, they're going to guide you to the people who are the subject matter experts in that field.
And with regard to this question, if you send me an email to mari@maestrocenter.org, I can direct you and point you to the right direction. We have many resources where we can point you at, and that will be more than willing to analyze your business model, where you're at and what needs to be done to take you to that next level. So please email me to mari@maestrocenter.org, and anybody can email me if you want these slides and if you want more information. Please just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help. So that's mari@maestrocenter.org.
Man, I'm getting questions and everything from all over the place. Tracy, thank you so much for answering. One of the questions that was about the PPP was, in order for the PPP to be forgiven, you can only use it for payroll, which is 75%, and utility rent, which is 25%, and it must be used by June the 30th. You cannot include contractors on the PPP. Your contractors can apply for the PPP on their own. And that was where Yvette alluded to about the 1099. So are there any other questions? I want to make sure that we answer as many as we can before we move to the Spanish version.
I do have a question with regards to what you just mentioned, Juanita. So even if you got the funding from the PPP a little later, you still have to use the funds the 30th until June the 30th, or could that time frame be extended from when you receive those funds?
This is Tracy. I'll respond to that. So the rule is, it's supposed to be 8 weeks of funding for your business, primarily for payroll, hence the word payroll protection program. 75% of it has to be on employees. A contractor is not an employee of your organization. So that's why they get to apply on their own. And currently the rule is June 30th. That's the deadline. So they want you to spend the money before June 30th in order to get it forgiven. If you don't spend it by June 30th and or you spend it differently, i.e. not 75% on payroll and 25% on utilities, it's fine. You just will not get the funds forgiven. It'll just be a loan, and the loan is at 1% interest. The first 6 months of the loan are deferred, but the loan will be due within 2 years. So you'll have 6 months of deferral, and then you'll have to start paying it back, 6 months and 1 day later. And at this point, the SBA has not changed the obligation of a June 30th date.
Now, if you want a copy of this webinar, please email Mari at maestrocenter.org. We'll also be placing it at the Maestro Entrepreneur Center website. And even the city has our webinars too. So take full advantage. And by all means, when you're talking about, buying local and growing San Antonio, we're not just talking about San Antonio. You have seen the collaboration from Houston to San Marcos, Cibolo, Shirts, what was the other? Brand? Who was it from? Independent Coffee.
Brenham.
Brenham, there you go. Brenham. you've got to take a look and share. We are about collaborating and growing. So I have time for maybe one more question. The other question is, I do think you can turn the money back in. Is that correct?
That is correct. You do not have to take the money. You can pay it back early if you'd like and just, not pay the interest at all. And that's the same for the EIDL, which we didn't really talk about today, but the EIDL loan comes with an advance and it's $1,000 per employee. So that's employees that you put down. The advance is a grant. You don't have to pay that back, right? It's a grant. And then they will follow up with whatever your loan amount is. They may not give you a loan. They may just give you a grant, or they may approve you for a loan. And that loan is at about 3.38% interest over 30 years with an 11-month deferral.
There you go. So
thank you so much.
So again, if you want a copy of this webinar, please email Mari at maestrocenter.org. Mari, who do you want to thank? Because there is a large range of people that we need to thank. And by all means, we need to get to the Spanish version to keep supporting.
I first, before we move forward, I really want to thank our business owners. So Independent Coffee, Organic Beauty, Robinson Construction, Que Retro Arts, the Dakota Ice House, everyone that has been really kind to share their time. Being an entrepreneur is really time consuming. So we really thank you for dedicating some time of this day to be here with us and sharing your story. So thank you. And I wanted to invite the people that are connected right now to stay for the Spanish version, because we have 3 different business owners that are going to share with us their story as well. So thank you, everyone. And these webinars wouldn't be possible without the help of HEB. So I wholeheartedly thank HEB for their support. They have been an amazing and key partner. And because of HEB, we have created alliances, not only in San Antonio, but other parts of Texas. So we're really fortunate to have them on board. But also I want to thank Juanita for being an amazing moderator with Tree Shaker podcast. And she has been a game changer and a true supporter and partner throughout these webinars. So thank you, Juanita. And without further ado, I really want to start on with the Spanish version. So if you ready whenever you are.
So again, if you email Mari at maestrocenter.org, you'll be able to get this webinar. So Mari, what are we doing again today? ¿Qué vamos a hacer hoy otra vez?
Bienvenidos a nuestro miércoles de webinar. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros hoy. Este es nuestro 7º webinar, nuestra 7ª sesión, y estamos súper orgullosos y súper felices de poder compartir con ustedes nuestros miércoles. Y hoy vamos a destacar a la pequeña empresa, porque es la semana de la pequeña empresa. Y un montón de organizaciones lo han pospuesto por el COVID, pero nosotros queríamos destacar y celebrar siempre la semana de la pequeña empresa, porque la pequeña empresa es la que sostiene nuestra economía. Entonces, hoy venimos a hablarles a ustedes sobre cómo 3 empresarios han dado giro a sus negocios y han cambiado sus estrategias para poder seguir a flote y para poder seguir generando ingresos, poder seguir con sus empleados y mucho más. Así que antes de empezar, quería agradecer a HEB por ser uno de nuestros recursos más importantes, pero también a los SBDCs en Houston y SBDCs aquí en San Antonio localmente. Así que antes de empezar quisiera introducir a Juanita. Ella nos va a hablar un poquito sobre los empresarios que están hoy dispuestos a compartir con ustedes sus historias. Bienvenida, Juanita. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Gracias, María. Bienvenidos a todos para poder estar aquí presentados y poder entender la manera que podemos avanzar. Cada empresario son diferentes. Ningún negocio es igual y todos tenemos nuestro momento que vamos a descubrir y la manera que podemos avanzar. Hoy es webinar miércoles. Gracias a Dios que podemos seguir avanzar. Pero lo quiero introducir que hay 3 diferentes empresas que quiero que reconozcan. Vamos a comenzar con Yvette Robinson. Yvette Robinson es la presidenta y la cooperadora de Robinson General Construction. Es una compañía que fue establecida en junio junto con su esposo, Kurt Robinson, en junio de 2010. La diversidad de Yvette fue en contra de la construcción que brota cuando ella estuvo una niña ayudándole a su padre entre fin de semana y después de la escuela. Y en el negocio familiar que se dice Paisano Home Builders, que es una empresa de construcción residencial. Ella comenzó ayudándoles, limpiando en sitios y después de la escuela, comenzó trabajando como directora de marketing y ventas en la compañía, después de recibiéndose de high school, ¿verdad? ¿Verdad? Y seguimos avanzando. So dime, Yvette, ¿fue tan fácil para ti para comenzar tu negocio?
No hay nada fácil en este mundo.
No, claro, no.
Tienes que pasar por esa experiencia para poder tener eso en tu mente. Eso es lo que siempre se ha quedado conmigo, es que todo es duro y trabajando vas a salir adelante.
Oh, claro que sí. Y nada es simple. Y más cuando seamos empresarios o empreseras. La otra cosa también es que en realidad, de muy seguro, aunque entendiste que había el negocio como construcción residencial con tu familia y notaste la diferencia de comenzando, parece que estaba en Laredo, ¿verdad?
Sí, es en Laredo, pero la construcción residencial y construcción comercial son dos diferentes mundos que tuve que aprender a la fuerza.
No, y claro que sí, pero cuando tú comenzaste, de seguro no entendías en la manera que puedes dirigir con tus recursos, con tu financia, con tu plan de negocio, ¿verdad? Eso no fue tan fácil.
No.
Y más, es una mujer en una carrera que la mayoría lo dirige el hombre, ¿verdad?
Es correcto.
So dime, ¿qué fue la primera cosa que tú comenzaste cuando comenzó COVID-19? ¿Qué fue la primera cosa que
La primera cosa que hice es recogí el teléfono y le hablé a todos mis clientes que tenía contratos y teníamos el trabajo ya han comenzado. Y les pregunté, si todo está bien, ¿qué es lo que necesitamos que hacer? ¿Quieres que nos vayamos, que nos quédenos? Usted dígame a mí, ¿qué es lo que necesita de Robinson General Contractors para poder ayudarles a ustedes? Y H&B es uno de mis clientes y fue los primeritos que me dijeron, no, por favor quédate y ayúdanos a acabar esto. Y la comunicación que tengo con ellos es muy bien.
Pero tú tienes contratos federales y también contratos públicos, ¿verdad? Y esos son diferentes, exacto. Como dijiste, esos son diferentes mundos. La manera como dirigiste, porque los contratos federales pararon, ¿verdad?
Teníamos un proyecto que íbamos a comenzar con el FAA y uno de ellos dijo que es para todo. Hasta que se acabe todo esto, podemos seguir con el contrato. Son muchos de los contratos en eso. Si la de la ciudad no me pararon el proyecto todo, pero sí querían que, pues todo tiene diferentes procesos. Cada dueño de cada, mientras que sea el estado, la ciudad o el gobierno, te van a querer, tienes que hacer los procesos que ellos tienen.
Dirijas diferente porque cada proyecto, cada contrato tienen cierta necesidad, ¿verdad? Sí. Y gracias a Dios que H&B dijo, no, quiero que sigues porque los clientes de nosotros se necesitan para poder seguir avanzando. Pero tú hiciste algo muy diferente antes que todo de COVID-19 comenzó, antes que pusieron tantos restrictos en el negocio. ¿Qué hiciste tú?
Me puse a buscar las mascaritas de las caras porque miré que una ciudad, Laredo, ya tenía eso implementado. Dije, ya puedo ver que todas las ciudades van a tener que usar máscaras. Fue lo primero que hice. Estuve recogiendo el teléfono y hablándole a diferentes compañías que sí tenían máscaras y casi nadie tenía en ese momento. pero encontré una parte allá en Laredo que me ayudó mucho con esto. So,
Mira, otra cosa,
que hice.
gracias. No, no, porque así podías seguir avanzando y podías cumplir con tus proyectos y los contratos y como siempre es ser fuerte y avanzar. Pero otra cosa, el PPP Preston, ¿lo recibiste? Y si lo recibiste, ¿en qué manera lo usaste?
Sí lo recibí como una semana antes de que abrieran, que era abril 3, me habló mi banco y me dijo, ponte, agarra toda la información que tienes y ponte a aplicar el día 3. Y sí me lo dieron abril 20. Y cuando lo recibí, lo primerito que hice es le hablé a mi acuentador y le dije, ¿cómo quieres que lo entre en mi sistema de accounting? Y cómo lo debo de gastar para gastarlo como se debe gastar. Y lo primerito que me dijo es, tienes las 8 semanas para tu payroll y para las operaciones de la compañía.
Lo utilizaste primero para las personas que trabajan por ti.
Sí,
entonces
cada semana le voy haciendo
sus cuentas.
Sí.
Bueno, otra cosa también, porque el negocio tuyo es muy diferente a otro negocio, por ejemplo, vamos a decir, un negocio de e-commerce, ¿verdad?
Sí.
¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿En qué manera estás haciendo tu negocio diferente? ¿Dónde estás dirigiendo diferente antes de COVID-19?
¿Cómo me afecta? Ahorita, como nos ha afectado aquí en la oficina, es que reducimos las horas de las 9 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde en el edificio aquí. Y lo único que ha cambiado es que si quieres venir a la oficina o te necesitas una cita antes. Por decir, si necesitas recoger un cheque, mejor te lo mandamos por correo o te lo mandamos FedEx. Tú me dices a mí cómo lo quieres. Pero es todo lo que ha cambiado. Ahorita tenemos los empleados aquí haciendo las operaciones como día tras día.
Pero todavía sigues avanzando por correo electrónico, comunicándote por Zoom, comunicándote por...
Exacto.
Y siguiendo avanzando, ¿verdad?
Si alguien me tiene que hablar o aunque no te pueda recoger el teléfono ahorita, me mandas un text y cuando tenga un momentito es lo primero que voy a hacer, te voy a hablar para atrás. No hay una llamada o algo que no regrese.
¿No? Para eso es la manera que podemos avanzar. Otra pregunta también es, ¿en qué manera cambiaste tu pensamiento con tu negocio? ¿Qué fue diferente después de todas estas restricciones de COVID-19?
Pues todavía estamos en ese COVID-19. Todo está cambiando por día. Mis pensamientos ahorita es mis empleados primero. ¿Qué es lo que tengo que hacer para tener los empleados y para seguir pagándoles? Porque si no tengo el trabajo, no puedo pagarles. Y ahorita estoy muy orgullosa que tenemos el trabajo y, gracias a Dios que todavía estoy aquí trabajando.
¿Puedes mantener todos tus empleos?
Sí, todos mis empleados. Todavía.
Se podía avanzar. Bueno, siempre, cada empresera o empresario quieren saber en qué manera puedes avanzar. Por ahorita, ¿qué puedes, cómo se dice? ¿Qué puedes dar ¿cómo se dice?
Palabras.
Sí, advice. Se me escapes. Pero dime algo que pueda soportar un negocio nuevo que está comenzando o está asistiendo y está cambiando porque COVID-19, porque tú asistes ciertas cosas comenzando.
Sí. Ahorita lo que tienes que hacer es no cambies la persona que eres para poder avanzar. Estate, ahorita es el momento de agarrar toda tu oficina y organízate. Habla con tus acuentadores que pueda ser diferente. Si tienes poco trabajo ahorita, es uno de los mejores momentos para poder organizarse y poner todo evaluar todo lo que tienes y cómo me puedo organizar mejor para poder avanzar. una de las cosas que yo hice fue, fui a la escuela no soy cuentadora, pero agarré la información que podía de la escuela para poder comunicarme bien con los acuentadores que tengo.
Gracias a Dios. Pero ¿qué organización te soportó más? Porque tú me estabas, vamos platicando entre semana, hoy en la mañana también platicamos que había una organización que te soportó y te dirigió en la manera que puedes hacer tu plan de negocio.
Ok, cuando comencé mi negocio, una de las primeras partes que pegué por coincidencia fue el Small Business Development Center ahí en UTSA Downtown. Fueron los primeritos que me ayudaron y luego me sorprendió porque era gratis, así como el Maestro Center. Y ellos me ayudaron a apuntarme en una dirección y me dijeron, tú tienes que hacer esto si quieres llegar allá. Y es lo que hice. Todo está en sí mismo si quieren avanzar.
Mari, tenemos una pregunta para Ivette.
Tenemos una pregunta. Me iba a esperar hasta el final para hacer las preguntas, pero yo sé que Ivette se tiene que ir porque tiene una reunión para un proyecto muy emocionante. Pero antes de que te vayas, Ivette, tengo una pregunta para ti. Ahorita un montón de gente está recibiendo los beneficios de unemployment y ha estado causando un problema de que los empleados no quieren regresar a trabajar ya que están recibiendo los beneficios de unemployment. Aquí una persona en el público nos está preguntando, como nos está diciendo, yo estoy tratando de llamar y llamar a mis empleados, pero no me responden, ya que están mejor ellos ahorita recibiendo unemployment, y yo ya recibí el PPP loan. Entonces, ¿qué hago? Porque yo apliqué para recibir esos fondos para poder pagarles, pero ya no quieren regresar a trabajar.
Gracias a Dios que ahorita mis empleados, yo tengo el trabajo, no estoy dejando a ninguno ir, no he tenido ese problema. Yo hablaría con alguien del SBA a ver si me pueden ayudar. Aquí en San Antonio hay Anthony Ruiz, que puedo pensar, Teresa Scott, que a lo mejor le pueden dar mejor advice on that, porque no les sabría decir. Porque si no quiere regresar a alguien y le estás dando trabajo, pues no te sabría decir.
Sí, no, y aquí tenemos a Tracy de UTSA SBDC. Ella no habla español, pero si ustedes nos envían un correo, si me envían un correo a mí a mari@maestrocenter.org, yo lo voy a dirigir con la persona correcta para que pueda contestar sus preguntas. Así que si tienen más preguntas sobre ese tema y no las podemos responder aquí, por favor envíenme un correo electrónico que yo estaría más que dispuesta y feliz de poder ayudarle.
Bueno,
Juanita, ¿tenemos más preguntas para Ivette?
Estaba anotando porque si tienen preguntas para Ivette, por favor, pregúntenlo ahorita porque tiene una cita que tiene que presentarse también por otro Zoom, porque como todas las empreseras estamos ocupadas y queremos avanzar, pero gracias a Dios que hizo tiempo para nosotros.
Les quiero decir gracias a todos por tenerme aquí ahora. Bien emocionada y thankful de estar aquí.
Tenemos la pregunta en la manera que dice que ella entiende inglés. Está Tracy.
Tracy, are you on the line? Tracy? I think she's on mute.
That's okay. Ivette, ¿todavía estás, Ivette? Ya sé que está lista para irse.
I'm here.
Okay. Ivette, te quería decir gracias porque ya sé que te tienes que ir a tu cita y agradecemos el tiempo que dedicaste para este webinar. Si tienen preguntas, como dijo Mari, por favor, mándenle un correo electrónico. Ella es un tipo de persona que está lista para demostrar, y si ella no tiene un consejo que le pueda avanzar su negocio, por favor, manden el correo electrónico y le dirigimos a las personas que sean profesionales en esa área.
Claro que sí. Muchísimas gracias, Ivette. Mucha suerte con tu reunión.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye bye, guys.
Hasta luego.
Ay, perdón.
Ahora.
Y ahora, ¿qué vamos a ver, mira, sabemos cómo platicar, sabemos cómo cocinar, sabemos que la necesidad para poder entretenernos. So, quiero ver, Janie, ¿qué estás haciendo tú para entretenerme? Porque ya ves, yo ya me cansé de estar en la casa, ¿verdad?
Sí, claro.
So, ¿en qué manera me vas a poder ayudar para no estar toda mortificada en la casa?
Lo que yo hice, hola, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Soy Janie
Ay,
Villarreal
perdón.
McClinchy. El apellido McClinchy es por el esposo, pero soy Villarreal.
Claro.
Yo tengo un negocio que comparto con una persona que se llama Yolanda Rugler. Las dos somos artistas, pintamos diferentes tipos de arte y también hacemos mucha artesanía de mano. Ella hace joyería y yo hago diferentes tipos de artesanía que vendemos en yo le digo mi tiendita adentro ahí de Maestro. En julio va a ser un año que hemos estado ahí en Maestro. Aparte de eso, yo soy la organizadora del evento de Frida Fest de San Antonio y otros eventos aquí en San Antonio. Aparte que tenemos en Maestro, organicé el evento de Concha Fest por primer año ahí en Maestro y otros eventos que tenemos en la ciudad, pero como ustedes saben, como todo esto pasó, todo se tuvo que cancelar. Ahorita no tenemos nuestra tienda abierta porque no estamos todavía preparados para tener clientes en nuestra tiendita. Y ahorita por el momento todos los eventos no sabemos si se van a cumplir o no sabemos qué es lo que va a pasar. Entonces lo que yo tuve que hacer es que yo tuve que pensar de una manera de cómo yo poder, seguir con mis clientes, porque nosotros tenemos a mucha gente que los sigue por las redes sociales, ya sea Instagram o Facebook. Más en Facebook, tenemos una página que RetroArts y tenemos casi 8,000 personas que los siguen, porque todos ellos comparten una cosa muy común que tenemos con toda la gente que los sigue, es que tenemos el amor y la pasión por Frida Kahlo. Y tenemos mucha gente que lo sigue. Todo lo que yo hice, aparte de la tiendita y organizar estos eventos, también lo que nosotros hacíamos es tener fiestas de pinturas, ya sea painting parties. Y teníamos como 4 o 5 al mes y también esos se tuvieron que cancelar. Entonces lo que yo hice es que yo comencé a organizar paquetes para que yo pueda vender a la gente para que ellos mismos pintaran en sus casas. Y estos kits lo que tiene es que vienen con un canvas que ya viene dibujado con imágenes que nosotros ya pintamos, como por ejemplo Frida Kahlo, la Virgen de Guadalupe, todo lo que sea arte latino. Aparte de eso, también reciben 4 pinturas, 2 brochitas para pintar. Y eso yo lo que estoy haciendo o lo estoy delivering a sus casas, si me compran 2 kits o más, o los mandamos por correo. Pero mande.
Pero Jenny, el COVID-19 no te puso un alto, ¿no?
Claro.
¡Lista!
Bueno,
¡Lista!
Sí, no. Sí, porque, como le digo, todos nuestros eventos ahorita no sabemos lo que va a pasar. Y la tienda la tuvimos que cerrar por el momento. Pero, como le dije, traté de saber de cómo poder seguir con nuestra clientela. Y ese proyecto parece que está trabajando porque mucha gente los está pidiendo estos kits. Y ahora ya estamos mandando afuera de San Antonio.
¿Ves? Y así puedes avanzar y la diversidad de la manera que puedes pensar. Pero, ¿tú tomaste el PP loan?
No.
¿Tuviste que tomar? No. ¿Ok?
No.
So, en realidad tú cambiaste de la manera que estás haciendo negocio por la preocupación de COVID-19 y también para asegurar tus clientes. Pero la otra cosa también, eso es algo que descubriste que puedes cambiar en tu negocio. No nomás puedes tener presentaciones aquí en la ciudad de San Antonio, pero también estás reconociendo diferentes clientes entre toda la ciudad?
Sí, ya sea, nosotros tenemos seguidores, no nomás en San Antonio, pero tenemos seguidores que lo siguen es que son de Los Ángeles, de Chicago, Phoenix, New York, hasta gente en México, Ciudad de México, los siguen porque a ellos les encanta el tipo de arte que Yolanda y yo hacemos, y aparte les encanta los eventos y la mercancía que también vendemos en nuestras tiendas, y por esa razón tenemos una grande seguidores que los siguen por los redes sociales.
So, viendo que COVID-19 los forzó a poder pensar diferente, porque eso es lo que sucedió, los forzó a pensar diferente y descubrir otra manera de mantener su empresera de allí con el maestro Sena. Vas a seguir avanzando con este tipo de negocio, porque ese es un tipo de e-commerce que descubriste y puedes seguir avanzando, pero todavía vas a hacer presentaciones aquí, ¿verdad?
Claro que sí, estamos esperando para ver qué es lo que va a pasar. Ahorita el futuro no sabemos qué es lo que va a pasar. Uno de los eventos que tenemos más grandes que tenemos programado para el año viene siendo Frida Fest. El evento de Frida Fest fácilmente miramos entre 8,000 a 10,000 personas en 2 días. Y porque hay tanta gente que viene a estos eventos, no sabemos si se va a poder hacerse este año. Y si eso es lo que va a pasar, estamos ya pensando de la manera que lo vamos a hacerlo virtual. Frida Fest se va a hacer este año, pero a lo mejor se va a hacer virtual. Vamos a tener que cambiar de la manera que hacemos los eventos. Al momento, como digo, no sabemos lo que va a pasar, pero por el momento e-commerce es la manera de seguir trabajando.
Claro que sí. Now, déjame ver. Estaba viendo en tu website. Aquí tienes website, pero tienes solo un modelo o un tipo de arte que estás dedicándote. Pero, ¿y los niños? Porque
a los niños les encanta pintar la sirena, y ahora recientemente el lunes fue May 4th. So May the 4th be with you. Star Wars theme. And we introduced Princess Leia. Pintamos Princess Leia estilo latina. Le pusimos hoops y la gente se volvió loca con esa imagen. Les comenzaron a ordenar eso también. Entonces nosotros hacemos arte que podemos crear arte para los niños, o si alguien nos pide un tipo de idea, un tipo de imagen, nosotros lo hacemos, lo pintamos y lo hacemos. A la misma también, yo hice arte para medallas de fiesta medals. Entonces, todo tipo de arte entre Yolanda y yo podemos fácilmente hacer.
Necesidad, mujer. So, vamos a ver. La pregunta fue que, ¿en qué manera te transformaste para el negocio? Pero, en realidad, estabas haciendo un tipo de e-commerce, pero creciste, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Pero ahora, ¿qué vas a hacer diferente? Porque una cosa que estás haciendo es arte para los niños, los adultos, estás haciendo Zoom. Frida no se va a perder, eso ya sabemos, porque es un tipo de cultura que uno, pues ya ves, nosotros tenemos que soportar nuestra cultura y las memorias y los costumbres que no se deben de perder. Aunque sea un pandemia, no importa, porque todavía vamos a tener manera de sostenerlos, ¿verdad? So, dime tú, si yo fuera un artista ahorita, todavía comenzando, no estabilizado muy bien, ¿qué un tipo de consejo le hubieras en ese momento?
Pues, una cosa que a mí me ha ayudado desde el primer día que yo decidí, en julio va a ser 5 años que yo decidí abrir mi propio negocio. Yo dejé mi trabajo, yo trabajaba por un banco, la misma cosa, usé mi 401k, yo abrí mi propio negocio porque yo quería hacer mi negocio propio. Entonces, una cosa que a mí siempre me ha ayudado es networking. Yo pertenezco a varias organizaciones, no nomás todo tipo de organizaciones que yo conozco a gente, me han presentado o diferentes tipos de gente, diferentes oportunidades con esas organizaciones que yo pertenezco. Y eso es una cosa que a todo el mundo siempre les digo, siempre júntate y haz todo lo que puedas networking, porque eso ha ayudado mucho a mí. Otra cosa es aprender seriamente cómo usar social media. Social media es algo que puede ayudar mucho a un negocio pequeño. Yo misma tuve que aprender, yo tuve que aprender todo lo que sea de Facebook y Instagram y live video y carousels y todo eso que tiene que ver con social media, pero todo eso es algo que ayuda mucho al small business owner y más si es una persona que está comenzando su negocio. Es la mejor manera que uno se puede abrir las puertas.
¿Cómo te ha ayudado, maestro? Maestro, quiero saber cómo te ha ayudado, maestro, en tu negocio.
A mí, maestro, ha sido una de las mejores decisiones que yo he hecho en mi negocio, porque maestro los ha enseñado cómo manejar nuestro negocio. Yo he dado todas sus clases, yo he sido parte del cohort program, yo he conocido a mucha gente por parte de maestro, y eso a mí como digo, me ha ayudado mucho como una persona de negocio pequeño, y soy muy agradecida por ser parte de maestro. Toda la gente, todo el staff de maestro, comenzando con Julissa, Mari, Shelly, Naeli, todas las quiero mucho y soy muy agradecidas con ellas porque me han ayudado mucho y pienso, ojalá seguir con ellos y ojalá que podamos seguir con nuestros eventos y a ver qué pasa con nuestro futuro, a ver qué los trae.
So, Jenny, el consejo que dices es que no te cierres a un solo ecosistema, ¿verdad?
Claro.
No te mantienes nomás a un... So, en ese momento, diciendo de un ecosistema, Mari, dinos lo que está haciendo el maestro señorita para otros negocios pequeños, porque hay otra cosa que hizo el maestro center y queremos asegurar que descubren este sitio donde pueden ir a conocerse y avanzar, porque ¿qué estamos haciendo hoy? Si vamos a comprar local, vamos a crecer a San Antonio, ¿verdad?
Claro que sí, Juanita. Muchísimas gracias. Y gracias, Jamie. Nosotras te queremos muchísimo también a ti y estamos muy orgullosas de cómo ha crecido tu negocio gracias a nuestros recursos. Pero antes que sigamos adelante y sigamos con Jamie, les quería mencionar que ya fue el launch de nuestra página web nueva donde tú puedes registrar tu negocio para obtener recursos para tu pequeña empresa. Y aquí les dejo el banner. Aquí hay un código en el lado derecho que si tú agarras tu celular y pones la cámara del celular, la pones enfrente del QR code, inmediatamente te va a dirigir a la página donde tú te puedes registrar. Entonces es súper fácil y también si no te funciona el código, solo visita a maestrocenter.org y aprieta donde dice Buy Local. Nuestra página web también está completamente en español, así que si no entiendes inglés, esta es una oportunidad para que tú puedas llenar y registrarte en español completamente. Y antes de seguir, sigamos con Jamie. Tenemos a alguien más que está en el público que nos menciona, que dice que ella compró sus paquetes para pintar para sus hijas y están felices porque es momento donde comparten como familia y platican. Muchas gracias, Jamie.
Qué bien.
Mari,
¿Sí?
parece que tenemos una pregunta.
Claro que sí. Janie, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, tenemos una pregunta.
Okay.
Sí, Juanita.
La estoy buscando. ¿Cómo comenzamos el networking? Es decir, ¿cómo comenzamos a construcción de
Tu red de contactos. ¿Cómo comenzaste a construir tu red de contactos? ¿Cómo comenzaste el networking, Jamie?
Bueno, para comenzar, tienes que encontrar otro tipo, o tienes que encontrar otro tipo de negocio o gente que está en algo similar en lo que tú estás haciendo, a comenzar a seguir a esa persona, a ese negocio, a seguir a esa gente, ya sea en Instagram, comenzar a seguir a ellos, en Facebook, y a la misma vez, si ellos ponen una cosa que te interesa o algo que tú tengas en común, pregúntales algo, dile, oye, mira, me encantó lo que tú hiciste, mira, este es mi negocio, y de esa manera tú puedes tener un poquito más de they can visualize you. Ya sea, si tú pones tu nombre, tu Facebook page, lo que sea, y tú estás siguiendo a estas personas que tienen algo similar o negocios similares a los tuyos, así gente también te puede comenzar a seguir y te pueden mirar tu link y tu información. Una cosa que, como les digo, networking. Es una cosa que es bien importante porque así es como tú te vas a encontrar más gente que tengan cosas en común, y a la misma vez networking te trae muchas oportunidades que nunca te van a llegar si tú no haces el esfuerzo de salir y conocer a otras gentes. Eso es como yo comencé de vendedor. I was a vendor. Yo fui a todos los markets, a todos los mercados chiquitos de San Antonio. Yo estuve en First Fridays, yo estuve en, ya sea en todos los mercados que San Antonio tenía para artistas. Yo conocí a organizadores, yo conocí a artistas común, y así es como yo comencé mi negocio. Pero es muy importante que como una persona, como un negocio, tú misma te tienes que ponerte, ya sea te tienes que ponerte en los networking groups, o en persona. Ahorita no podemos hacerlo, claro, pero hay muchos negocios, hay muchos networking eventos ahorita que puedes hacer por Zoom, que te puedes encontrar otra gente que te puede dar oportunidades.
Pero también, Janie, la cosa es que y hay ciertas personas que son tímidas, ¿verdad? Y para comenzar a comenzar a hacer el networking, que puedes desarrollar y comenzar a comunicarte, a conocer. Si vas a estas juntas de Zoom, no necesitas en realidad a comenzar a practicar, pero a comenzar a existir en ese ecosistema, ¿verdad? Para poder conocer y introducirte. Probablemente nadie te va a hacer una pregunta, pero tú estás descubriendo quién está, el tipo de negocio y la necesidad. Si entiendes el market y entiendes el cliente y la manera que quieres crecer, ese tipo de networking es para comenzar. Te puedes descubrir, aprendes, te enfocas en la necesidad de la comunidad y así vas a avanzar. Porque, Jamie, estoy viendo tu arte aquí. Todo comenzó simple. Lo puedes mandar por correo. También puedes comunicarte por Zoom, por un text, un correo electrónico. No tuviste miedo, tenías paciencia y puedes avanzar en algo que tú ya conocías. Y también ya tenías los clientes que te conocen a ti porque ya andabas en networking, ¿verdad?
Claro, pero como te digo, todo esto, de la manera que yo comencé desde yo misma ser vendor, conocer los mercados, conocer los organizers, aprender de cómo esa persona creció su negocio, de qué manera yo podía hacer algo que a ese negocio le faltaba, o que yo miraba, oye, yo puedo hacer esto un poquito mejor, y de eso yo aprendí, como te digo, desde de ser vendor, de comenzar con mercados, pero como digo, 5 años, van a ser 5 años ya en julio, y estoy muy orgullosa porque a mí y a Yolanda los siguen mucho nuestros clientes porque ya conocen de nuestro tipo de arte, ya conocen del tipo de mercancía que nosotros podemos crear con nuestras mismas manos. La joyería de Yolanda es muy bonita, tiene muy bonita calidad y entonces ya la gente ya los conoce, ya saben de qué tipo de mercancía, qué tipo de arte, qué tipo de evento yo puedo traerles a ellos. Entonces ya conocen de lo que pueden esperar de nosotros.
Claro que sí. Y mira, en este momento vamos a presentar a Crystal Royal, que es de HEB, porque como Janie tuvo oportunidad a hacerse un vendor, un tipo de clientes que ella reconoció, HEB quiere conocerte. Cristal, ¿estás presente y saluda?
I'm here.
Hola, hola. Mari, ¿puedes presentar para Cristal la información que HEB siempre está para soportar a la comunidad?
Claro que sí, claro que sí. Ahora más que nunca, HEB quiere que tú participes y que tú tengas una oportunidad de hacer negocios con ellos. Ahorita ellos están enfocados y están invirtiendo su tiempo y su dinero en empresas locales. Entonces, si tú tienes algún producto que puedas distribuir en HEB, por favor, te invitamos a que apliques por este link a esta página web www.heb.com/quest. Esta es una competencia que ellos usualmente para abril ya lo cortaron, pero ahora lo han extendido hasta el 31 de mayo para que tú tengas oportunidad de trabajar con HEB. Y la aplicación se cierra el 31 de mayo a las 4:59 p.m., no a las 5, sino que a las 4:59 p.m. Así que los invitamos a que por favor llenen esta solicitud y si tienen preguntas no las hagan llegar. Pero también si tú quieres convertirte en un proveedor para HEB, ya sea si vendes máscaras, si vendes productos que nosotros podamos necesitar para nuestros empleados, lo que sea, por favor apliquen y metan su solicitud a través de supplier.heb.com. Y muchísimas gracias HEB por ser un apoyo incondicional. Gracias Crystal. Ella entiende perfectamente el español, solo que le da pena hablarlo. Pero muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Gracias por siempre apoyarnos y apoyar a nuestros Webinar Wednesdays.
No, pero dale tiempo, va a aprender. Teníamos otro empresario, pero no pudo porque anda trabajando la web. Mari, ¿puedes poner la información del señor Rivera? Porque claro, ahorita anda él con sus clientes ahorita, no pudo, al último momento ya ves, cuando un cliente te llama, tienes que ir a soportar. El señor Rivera vende árboles y es una empresaria que está soportada por la familia. Él tiene más de 20 años de experiencia. Si se miras aquí, los árboles son lindos. Tan lindos que yo le compré 4. Te digo, son lindos. Y él tiene el humor para crecerlos y toma la oportunidad a ir a conocerte. Si necesitan y quieren notar, por favor, mándenme un correo electrónico o llámenle. Él está aquí en la ciudad de San Antonio, pero su negocio está en Atascosa, pero trabaja sobre todo de San Antonio. Pero otra cosa que quiero tomar es la oportunidad que por favor, si tienen preguntas o quieren recibir este webinar, por favor, mándenle un correo electrónico a Mari @maestrocenter.org, por favor. Y si tienen otra pregunta que probablemente no podemos contestar ahorita o dar un consejo, por favor, noten que vamos a estar presentando. Pero, Mari, también quiero ver que, por favor, estás avanzando. Estamos listos. Por favor, presenta qué estamos haciendo ahora en el Maestro Center.
Los quiero invitar a que se registren porque hemos creado una plataforma como un social media similar a LinkedIn, donde tú vas a poder tener tu perfil para tu negocio, donde tú vas a poder modificarlo, poner tu foto de perfil, poner imágenes de tu negocio, y es una manera para que tú te conectes con otros negocios en San Antonio, pero no solo con otros negocios, sino que también con la ciudad, con Bexar County, con entidades muchísimo más grandes tipo HEB, con toda esta gente que está dispuesta a trabajar contigo. Así que te invitamos a que te registres en la página web del maestro, es maestrocenter.org. Si buscan el Buy Local Grow SA, ahí pueden cambiarle del inglés al español para que tú registres tu negocio con nosotros. Así que te invitamos y otra vez muchísimas gracias por ser parte de estos seminarios semanalmente. Les agradecemos su participación. Muchas gracias, Juanita, por ser increíble y por apoyarnos en estos esfuerzos. Pero antes que nada, quería agradecer a los que nos apoyan financieramente y a los que nos apoyan también con los recursos que les ofrecemos a ustedes. Quisiera agradecer a HEB primeramente por todo su apoyo, a BBVA, Wells Fargo y VIA, pero también a la gente que nos ayuda con los recursos como Westside Development Corporation, Hispanic Contractors Association y todas las cámaras de comercio que están listadas acá, pero también los SBDCs que nos apoyan y siempre están dispuestos a compartir información con nosotros. Así que muchísimas gracias, Janie, por estar aquí con nosotros hoy, y gracias, Juanita, y gracias, Crystal.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Claro que sí. Y quiero que recuerdan esto. Aunque estemos aquí en San Antonio, sus negocios son importantes. De Houston a Dallas y Fort Worth, a San Marcos, aquí en San Antonio, en Lytle, a Schertz y Cibolo, todos estamos comunicando y estamos avanzando en nuestros negocios porque ustedes traen un valor a nuestra comunidad que se está pudiendo soportar la economía de San Antonio y las ciudades en que ustedes pertenecen. So, gracias de Juanita Sepúlveda, de Trisha, de Podcast, porque siempre es una oportunidad a poder comunicar con toda la gente que está presente en este momento. HEB, que ha tenido el esfuerzo para poder presentar y dar los recursos que más podemos avanzar y informar otras empresas que se necesitan en este momento. Mari, gracias. Mil gracias.
Muchísimas gracias a todos. Y si tienen preguntas, vamos a dar un par de minutos para responder esas preguntas. Janie sigue en la línea. Si alguien tiene más preguntas para Janie, con muchísimo gusto las responden. Así que muchísimas gracias. Gracias, Bonita. Gracias, Crystal. Y gracias, Janie. Crystal, we're going to wait a couple of minutes. Just 1 minute to see if there's any questions para que paremos el recording.
Y no se les olvide que para el otro miércoles.
El otro miércoles en el mismo canal a la misma hora. Los esperamos. El próximo miércoles vamos a traerles otros recursos, así que stay tuned. El día viernes tenemos una reunión para planificar los siguientes recursos que vamos a ofrecerles. Así que por favor estén pendientes de nuestra página web, de nuestro social media, para poder ver qué viene y para poder seguir apoyándolos a ustedes. Así que muchísimas gracias, se los agradecemos. Gracias por compartir su miércoles con nosotros y hasta la próxima. Hasta luego.
Hasta la próxima.